Hello, fellow Amazonians. This is David from Monopolo with another Amazon topic for discussion. Today we have a quite interesting one. We have a post about scammers hijacking listings and using fake tracking codes to transact orders to Amazon customers. And we have a post here uncovering a massive fraud ring, over $60,000 in test buys so far, customer service clueless and making excuses. We have a massive influx of sellers jumping onto our brand registered listing with thousands of units of product available. We haven't even manufactured the quantity that these sellers have available for resale. So, first thing I'm a little suspicious about this is that how are they jumping onto a registered brand listing? Doesn't make sense. Usually, you need to have a proof of supply chain documentation to really get onto those listings that are registered. But let's keep going here. We started making test purchases of these products to find out what these sellers were selling. That's good. That's a standard protocol. You buy these hijackers products and you report them. Turns out none of the orders are actually being shipped. Tracking is being uploaded and the tracking numbers are authentic, but they are for other customer products or orders. In other words, the packages show delivered, but they are being delivered to all different zip codes around the states, and the weights and dimensions of the packages are not for the product that was purchased, which is their product. That's a little strange because I'm surprised Amazon doesn't catch on that the same tracking code is being reused on different orders. So it's a little suspicious that they can get away with this. But moving on. Additionally, we are seeing now that the sellers have run out of tracking numbers to use, so they are using the same tracking number on multiple orders. That's crazy how they can get away with that. Even better, we found that multiple sellers are using the same tracking numbers now. This is getting crazy. When I look at the business address of these sellers, they are all located in the same UPS store. All of them have the same address, but different unit numbers. So I'm guessing these are PO boxes then. Here are some examples if a mod wants to take a look. Order ID ending in 605 was shipped with tracking number ending in 109, and the seller is D, and then it's just basically disguised goods. Order ID ending in 837 was shipped with tracking number, same one, ending in 109, and the seller is E, well, disguise name goods. So there are two different sellers on Amazon with shipping orders with the exact same tracking number. Two different sellers, two different order IDs, and they are using the same tracking information. Yeah, I find that really hard to believe how Amazon's not catching on to this. I'm sure it's an easy fix for them eventually, just you can't have the same tracking number on orders. So I can see them easily fixing this issue, but I'm surprised this could happen in the first place. And this forum poster blog writer just again gives more examples of different order IDs with the same tracking numbers here. That's already mentioned before. Since all the tracking numbers that they use are showing as delivered, even though they are hundreds and hundreds of miles away all over the country, we can't return any packages. That's odd. You can always return an Amazon order. It's with Amazon terms of service, even for a foreign seller, that if you buy a product on Amazon and it's fulfilled by a merchant even from another country, you have the right to return it within 30 days. And it's also always free shipping for the customer. So if, let's say, you buy a product from China, it's a listing in the US and the shipper is from China, and you buy it from them, and when you receive the package, you want to return it, you have 30 days to initiate a return. And once you initiate the return, the international seller has to give you a return label to a either domestic address or a return label back to the origin of the seller. And if they don't give it to you within, I believe, 2 or 3 days, you automatically get the refund and you get to basically keep the product. So I'm surprised they can't return the package here. We have spent hours and hours of customer service and they're just telling us to keep waiting, and this could be a system glitch. Interesting. So I guess you're saying, well, maybe perhaps they're not getting the package, but you can still initiate a refund without receiving the package because the order technically is delivered because the tracking number shows it's delivered, right? So you could always initiate a return. I don't really understand why they can't return it. But I do understand that you can't report the seller as selling a counterfeit because you never got anything. So you can't take pictures and create documentations of something that you never got, right? So now we're out tens of thousands of dollars and the sellers keep on selling. Well, I hope that that's tens of thousands of dollars of opportunity costs and loss of sales and not you giving them tens of thousands of dollars of sales. But that's a lot of orders here. Ooh. Again, I guess more of the story is that don't let hijackers hijack your listing. Protect your listing at all costs. So in this case, the source of this problem is that there's an influx of sellers jumping onto their brand registered listing, right? Their listing is getting hijacked and these scammers are using fake tracking codes to complete the orders. And I'm surprised that, they don't get shut down for that within not only months, but maybe within days, because there's a lot of customers who aren't getting the products, but the tracking is showing delivered, right? But the source of the problem is that there are people hijacking your listing, and whenever someone hijacks your listing, it's never good because if they're selling an inferior product and your customers unknowingly buy it from the hijacker, then they're going to think that your product's inferior, write a bad review, thinking that what they received is actually your genuine product. So the goal then is to not get hijacked, and one way of doing that is registering your brand on brand registry, gating your brand, and to take another level, if you really want to protect your listing, then sign up for Transparency Program, which is a program offered by Amazon where once you sign up to Transparency, you would choose which products you want to be protected by Transparency. And when you sign up for Transparency Program, they'll give you unique barcodes that you have to print onto labels and stick them on your product. And the barcodes are unique. Each one is a different serial number. And that way, when Amazon FBA receives those products, then they can scan the code and make sure that the product FBA receives are genuine products that are from you. And also, it will gate the listings where you can choose who can sell your product on a transparency platform. So basically, you can choose which seller is authorized to list and sell your products. And also, if you do fulfilled by merchant, they'll have to enter the transparency code into the fulfilled by merchant order page. Although, perhaps that I've always had a gated or allowed seller account to sell transparency products, so we never had to actually enter the transparency code. But I believe that somehow a seller does manage to get authorized to sell the product that has transparency labels on them. They'll have to enter that transparency code on the label per order when it's fulfilled by merchant. So it's a great way of preventing hijackers to get your listing. Although there is an extra cost because now you have to print a transparency label for each of your product going to, well, basically being sold on Amazon. So there is an extra cost involved, but at least you'll prevent this type of hijacking out there to happen to your listings. And I believe that sums it up for today's topic of discussion, and I hope you found this useful. If you do, please consider subscribing and giving me a thumbs up. It takes very little effort from you and makes a massive impact on how YouTube ranks my content. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.